Hey, it's Clay at claytrader.com. This will be my top 10 stocks as we head into Tuesday, June 3rd. This will be a technical analysis breakdown, so if you're someone that uses charts within your trading, or maybe you're just interested in learning more about charts and how they can be used as a tool to help make good decisions as a trader, this will be a video for you. First off, a couple clarifications. Number one, the candlestick that you see right here will be moving around and changing. That is because the market's still open for a small amount of time. But I like to do these videos when the market is still open because sometimes we can capture some really interesting late day price movement. Second, I'll be using the 30-minute time frame, meaning each one of these candlesticks here represents 30 minutes worth of time. So ticker symbol number one, APLD. Very, very impressive mover today. Big gap up and then just kept on rocking and rolling even after the gap up. So got to think a lot of people are going to be watching this one here headed into Tuesday. And the first key level here is what I would just, by no means am I trying to impress you or imply this is a special talent or a great discovery. Got to think a lot of people are watching this area right here at $10.55. You can see was rejected there, was rejected right there. And I make that point about, no special skill or anything like that, because when a lot of people are watching the same levels and wondering the same thing, call it a self-fulfilling prophecy, call it whatever you want, it can produce some very dynamic movement. So no such thing as a guarantee, but is it valid to think that if the price were to come up here and break up through there, that break right there could create additional buying pressure? Absolutely. Again, not guaranteed, but certainly more than valid to throw out the question that maybe just maybe a break of that level does create some upside buying pressure. In terms of areas of support, if the price pulls back, in terms of, hey, Clay, what would make this chart look the absolute best moving forward? That'll be if the price can stay up there above 935. But from the big picture point of view, just watch that purple line right there, the 50-period simple moving average. Keyword being moving, so as time goes by, that line is going to move itself higher and higher. So it's basically like a trend line that's drawing itself for you. So as long as the price stays above the overarching trend line, then overall that does imply the price is building higher bases, and that's how those big picture uptrends are constructed. You just want to see higher bases being built as time goes by. So again, assuming you care about the grand scheme of it all, just watch that purple line, and as long as the price stays above it, then the bulls are in full health. Next one here, looking at BNAI, and I'd say a good, solid pattern here has been put in place, and I make that comment because, again, just going back to those ideas of self-fulfilling prophecies, when you have these good, solid patterns that you got to think a lot of people are watching, does it guarantee anything? Absolutely not. But does it make it valid to think that if the price were to consolidate out, come up here and break through the top, that break right there could create additional buying pressure? Certainly a more than valid question to throw out there as a possibility. So keep an eye on that area of resistance right there. And then in terms of areas of support, I think a worthwhile lower trend line to put into play right there. Let me change that to green for support. And then maybe just to make the overall pattern easy to see, let's keep it the same color. So we have our area of resistance. We have our support. We have the nice upwards move right here. And put the golf hole down here. This would be a bull pennant pattern. So if you like bull pennants, if you like the range down here in penny stocks, certainly keep an eye on it. Next one, BMGL. Pretty rough one today, depending on your strategy. I mean, if you're some sort of scalper, very quick trader, then right there, you had a situation where the price broke out right there, made a nice move. So plenty of opportunity there to scalp out on something. But if you were holding that, wanting a bigger move, I mean, you just got absolutely crushed. Well, assuming you didn't use a stop loss. So hopefully you're using a stop loss. But got to think this fake breakout here wrecked a lot of people today. So we'll see how this continues to play out. But on the good news front, now this is not good news if you're a scalper that bought right there. So when I make the good news front, I'm assuming more so the bigger picture. But from the bigger picture standpoint, at least the price has started to go sideways. Now, let me be very clear. Just because the price has come down and started to go sideways does not mean that for sure guaranteed the price is going to curl back upwards. My point here is it's at least valid to throw out that suggestion. Case in point, if the price was still dropping and then I'm sitting here saying, hey, it's looking like this could be the bottom, you'd be totally justified to say, wait, what are you talking about? Based on what? The price is literally just still dropping. But that's not the case here. The price has at least started to go sideways. So again, does that mean that this pullback is over? It doesn't, but it does make it more plausible. So if there is going to be any sort of attempted turnaround back in the upwards direction, key area in my resistance area right there, in my opinion, around the $5 mark. But yeah, no doubt about it. Rough fake breakout here, but is this thing going to try to curl back upwards? We'll see what happens. Next one here, PLTR, and overall the chart is hanging in there. It's made a nice move up, pulled back a little bit here, but big picture wise, things are doing just fine. I'm going to actually go ahead and get rid of these levels because from the overarching standpoint, I think that the best way to kind of just illustrate this is via that trend line here that I've already had in place, meaning that from the grand scheme of it all, as long as the price stays above that trend line, then that means the price is building higher lows. And as long as the price builds higher lows, as I mentioned earlier, then that by definition implies that the overall trend is in the upwards direction. So no need to overcomplicate it. Just watch that trend line. And in my opinion, at least, as long as the price stays above that line as time goes by, then the bulls are doing just fine. In terms of areas of kind of preferable. Hey, Clay, what would make this chart look the absolute best? In my opinion, if the price can stay up there right around the 129 mark. But again, if the price falls below 129, that doesn't mean the overall chart is epically destroyed, because once more, as long as the price stays above that trend line, then that's by far what matters. In terms of areas of resistance in the very near term, seems as though there's kind of a stubborn area right there around the 133 mark. So keep an eye on that. And then if the price can push up through there, next key battleground to watch would be the highs right here. But we don't want to get too far ahead of ourselves, one hurdle at a time. So let's first see if the price can get above that hurdle right there at the 133 mark. But all things considered, good solid start here for PLTR. Next one, NVDA, and we're looking at a very interesting situation here from the technical point of view. What is that situation? Well, if you watch past videos, you know we've been tracking this resistance trend line right there, and you can see earlier on in the day, the price has broken above it. Not only did the price break above that trend line, the price is also now back up above that purple line right there, 50-period moving average. So overall, the chart is looking solid. The bulls have made an appearance. The week is young, only Monday. So we'll see if the bulls can continue to build upon this. But from the technical point of view, like I said, two very important things, breaking above the trend line and breaking above that 50-period moving average. So I'll go ahead and get rid of that. Moving forward, preferably speaking, that level that would make the chart by far look the strongest would be if the price can stay up above the purple line. In this situation, just keep an eye on that overarching level, the big brother of the 50-period moving average, that pink line down there, the 200-period. So as I squeeze this out, you can see that as long as the price is staying above this level as it's been doing, then overall the trend remains drifting in the upwards direction. In terms of areas of resistance, key level to watch, going to be right there around the 138.25 mark. And if the price can break up through there, I'm not saying the price shoots straight up to this area up above 140, but in my opinion, there's definitely there's wiggle room here for the price to find some good solid momentum. But again, one step at a time, and it would have to also be a high volume break of that area right there. But anyway, look at it. Very nice way to start off the week for NVIDIA. Got the trend line break back up above the 50-period moving average. So let's see how the week continues to play out. Real quick, want to take a break and personally invite you to get signed up for this free live online webinar that I'm offering later on in the week. So if you've been enjoying what you've seen and you want to learn more about this tool, how it can and should be used to build consistency and manage risk, then definitely get signed up for the free live class. If you're watching on YouTube, there's a link down below the description area you can use to sign up. Or if you're watching right at my website, there's an area on the webpage you can use to sign up. So like I said, if you've been enjoying, then definitely get signed up for the free class. Next one here, MODV, and very different chart than what I last looked at. As you know, the last time it was, I was expecting something a little bit stronger, but then all of a sudden you see this pullback here. Now, does this mean that the entire chart's destroyed? It doesn't. Now, there is perspective here. Day traders, flippers, scalpers, whatever you want to call yourself. If you bought right there, or you bought the dip right here, well, yeah, from that angle, things are all of a sudden looking really bad for you. But if you do care about the bigger picture, even with the pullback, price still has plenty of opportunity to build a higher base. And I'm not saying this is what the price is going to do, but just for example's sake, let's say the price pulls back even more and comes down to this $2 mark. So price comes down here to $2, behaves like this, and then curls back upwards. What would you still have from the bigger picture point of view? Well, you'd still have a set of lows there, lows down here. And if you envision each of those as stair steps, you'd still have stair steps progressing in the upwards direction. And that's what a truly strong move is going to do. Nothing can go straight up, but you do at least want to see it make progress. So in this situation, the quote unquote progress point, I would define as staying above that $2 mark. If the price does all of a sudden trying to turn itself back around, key area of resistance at this point, I would say, is that resistance area right there. So keep a close eye on that. But as of right now, yeah, breaking levels of resistance are important, but I think the main importance is making sure that this last 30 minutes, which is pretty rough, doesn't spin out of control and start crashing down through a bunch of areas of support. So not saying that that's what will happen, but there's no doubt about it. This last 30 minutes here is looking kind of rough. So that'll be priority number one on Tuesday, making sure that this is not some sort of leading indicator of more bloodshed to come. Next one here, RVYL, and I will just start off by saying this is a very ugly looking chart, but you longer time viewers, you know what I'm going to say next, but there can be opportunity in the ugly. But this is certainly situations where if you're not going to be disciplined, I mean, you shouldn't even be trading, but that's a whole nother topic. You definitely shouldn't be trading situations like this because yes, this thing absolutely exploded. And yes, this thing essentially went right back to where it started right here. But where it is right now, from a technical standpoint, is pretty interesting because it's basically right here within the range of these two key moving averages, which I've talked about, the purple line being the 50-period moving average, pink line being the 200-period moving average. And then you factor that in with it's essentially right back to where it started. And maybe, just maybe, is this thing going to try to double bottom, bounce back up? Now, again, that is a maybe. That's why risk management matters, because if this thing continues to bleed and bleed and bleed, you don't want to turn yourself into a bag holder. But from a risk versus reward scenario, meaning if you're willing to honor the stop loss, what would be risk relative to what you could potentially gain if this thing starts to curl back upwards, you're looking at a nice, like I said, risk versus reward scenario. So if you like penny stocks, if you like to try to find the opportunity in the ugly and you can be disciplined, then keep an eye on it. Next one, INM, and same general idea. So I'm going to go through this a little quicker. Not the same exact looking chart, but same general idea. Yes, ugly looking chart, but with the big ugly pullback here, you can see the price is now entering right into this very interesting level. So while that does not guarantee anything, hence the importance to be disciplined, honor stops. If the price were to come down here and bounce, would that be shocking? I don't think anybody would be shocked by that. But again, no guarantees. So if this thing just continues to bleed, you don't want to find yourself as a bag holder. So same general idea though. If you like these sorts of opportunity in the ugly, you can be a disciplined trader and you like good risk versus reward scenarios, keep an eye on it. Next one here is CLF. Very eventful day today with all the news and just a great example of the power of charts. I mean, you've heard me talk about this pink line before, that 200 period moving average, and how when the price is above it, you want to see it act as support, and you just can't make this stuff up. Gapped up, came down, found some support, pulled back again, cruised right above that level before now starting to curl back upwards. So just a classic example of the power of charts. Now, charts are not perfect. That's not the claim. The claim is just they're a worthwhile tool, and I would encourage you to at least consider using them. But as far as patterns are concerned, first part of the pattern here is just, I'm not even going to use a trend line. I'm just going to use that pink line there, the 200 period moving average. So we'll extend that out like this. And then we have that area right there as our upper part of the pattern. And then before this occurred, the price was down here and made the big move up. And then for the golfers, let's make it a little bit more visual. Put the golf hole down here. So we are once again looking at another bull pennant pattern. So just because something's in a bullish pattern does not mean it's for sure guaranteed going to go up. But I don't think anybody would call you crazy if you're like, I think if the price consolidates out, comes up here and breaks, that break could create additional buying pressure. Again, not guaranteed to happen, but is that a valid question to throw out there as a possible scenario? In my opinion, absolutely. So if you like this price range around $10, you like bull pennants, keep an eye on it. Next one here, TSLA Tesla, and a couple of levels that I talked about previously on Friday have definitely come into play here. So the first key level, and this will mean a little bit more to those of you that did watch the video from Friday, but I talked about this green line here as support down around the 334.65, and you can see late morning, a little bit of a breakdown, but good to see the bulls stepped up. So not only did the price get back above that green line right there, but the bulls had a very nice bounce and is continuing to bounce very nicely. So yes, nice bounce here underway on Tesla. So moving forward, 334.65 remains that key level in the event the price gets rejected. Rejected from what? Well, look at this pink line right here, and this is a classic example of levels of support. When they're broken, they tend to act as resistance. And going into today, as I talked about on Friday, that was an important level, but the price did break down below the level right there. And then it's at that moment in time where you'd expect it to act as resistance, and sure enough, look at that. Came back up, rejected right from it. And then as I speak right now, struggling with that pink line. So I'm not saying that the price cannot break above the pink line. I'm just saying it makes sense while the price is struggling at that area. So near-term area of resistance headed into Tuesday, going to be right there at the 343 mark. And then next key level after that would be these highs up here at this former area. And that's right up there at 352.50. But again, one hurdle at a time. Let's first just see if the price can break up through that level right there. But all in all, rough day for Tesla, but did get a nice bounce. So we'll see if the bulls can build upon the momentum for Tuesday. So that wraps up the top 10 stocks. Again, if you like what you saw here and you want to learn more, then definitely get signed up for the free class. Like I said, it'll be later this week, Thursday, June 5th at 8 p.m. Eastern time. So I hope to see you there. As far as the top 10 videos are concerned, if you enjoy these, make sure you hit that like button. And also be sure you hit that subscribe button and turn on notifications. I have been going live, so I do a live stream now. And if you're interested in joining, watching me trade live, asking me questions, just hanging out live during the day, then like I said, make sure you subscribe and turn on the notifications so that you are notified when I do indeed go live. So thanks for hanging out, and make sure you go get signed up for that free class.